Hello, friends. Welcome. I have something that I want to share with you guys today. So I've basically been just studying the shit out of some older systems over the last couple of years. I've been really sort of grabbed by the fact that they were able to do so much with so little, like referring to systems like Lisp and Smalltalk from back in the day. And then you look at today, how much computing power we have and how little we seem to be able to do with it. It seems like we're drowning in complexity all the time. And so I wanted to study these older systems to say, how did they avoid a lot of that? Or did they just not have as much complexity? But I'm actually not talking about any of that today. I just want to show you guys a little experiment that I've been doing. And it starts with this. So this is a little Node script that I wrote just to allow me to access the file system over HTTP. So get requests and put requests, that's all it is, reading and writing. The only other thing we're going to do here is create just a blank HTML file here so that the browser doesn't yell at us. And then we'll start our server. And so over in the server, over in the browser, normally when you visit a web page, you don't really expect to modify the web page and then leave and come back later and see your modifications still there. But that is exactly what we want to do with this. We want to have the system sort of accumulate our changes over time. And so the reason why we did that file system was that the browser by default gives us a lot of these dev tools that create like this fantastic dynamic process that we can inspect and modify in real time, but none of it is persistent. So now we can send a little put request to the backend to essentially rewrite the program from within the running program. So just to verify that that's working, that all looks good. So now we can do exactly that. We can come visit this web page and we can change it while we're here. But we don't just want to do that to write all of our files because that's going to be a giant pain in the ass. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to sort of extend the dev tools by adding our own alongside them. Whatever we need to make computing convenient. We discovered a long time ago that universal computers can compute anything, but a personal computer can compute anything intuitively, right, and easily. That's kind of what we're after. So we want tools and interfaces that make computing feel much more intuitive and much more natural. Okay, so we'll do this. And now we have just a full screen text editor that we can mess around with and write our files in. It's a little bit more convenient. I know it's a shitty text editor, but it'll have to do. So we'll write our HTML here. There we go. That looks good, I think. So we'll send that off. And instead of using a string literal, we'll just use the value of the text editor. And then before we refresh, we're just going to write our JavaScript real quick using the same thing. And so this is essentially just taking what we've already made, which is a little text editor to help us edit files, and sort of wrapping it up into a little tool for us and launching it on startup. So we'll save that as our JavaScript file. And then when we refresh the page now, we get light mode for free, which everyone loves. We love that. But then we have a little checkpoint that we've made from before, so we don't lose all of our work when we refresh the page. We come back to exactly where we were. We can add new startup behavior if we want. And these functions are also available to us interactively inside of the REPL. So we could, for example, go and edit our HTML file if we wanted to using the same mechanism where we're not using anything extra for that. So the idea of this is that you just want to sort of slowly add to the system and grow it and build out what you actually need in terms of tools to support your workflows and whatnot. I'll try adding one more tool here. So here's what we have now. So this is the same stuff as before, and then I've added this edit sketch function. You can pause the video and check out the source code if you want. But it essentially works the same way as our text file editor, except for sketches. So, oh, wait, I gotta save that first. There we go. And then we can do something like this. And this just lets us just draw little pictures. So you can imagine like turning this into like an icon editor or something in the future, a really janky one. Or you could use it as something like capturing a certain portion of the screen or like signifying a certain portion of the screen, you could use this to help you sort of draw circles around that. But yeah, you can save stuff in the same way that we can edit our files, and we can come back to it later if we want to. So yeah, I intend to keep kind of experimenting with this and playing around with it. It's really cool. It's really motivating to see how little functionality you actually need to start getting somewhere and to start being able to build, maybe not useful programs, but semi-useful programs. I've done some other sort of iterations of this where I've come up with things like file pickers and fuzzy finders and whatnot, so you could search through all of the functions across all the different files and whatnot. It's fun. You should mess around with it. If you guys have any questions, obviously let me know. Hopefully I'll be back with some more on this to share soon, so stay tuned. And for now, adios.